I'll say this, right? I don't think all people look alike. Pretty easy to tell. I actually
Yeah,
think people a lot of times have more differences and features between them than people do.
absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
people look more similar to each other than people.
Why don't we just stop, dude? We're
Let me stop before I get to. I got half attacked by hornets in prison. We were on a crew, doing like landscaping bullshit. And it was me and like the one other he was like an actual worker that worked for the city that I was out with that day. We'd eaten stop signs. He hit a ground hornet's nest by a stop sign. He was a block down from me, but it literally it looked like a cloud.
oh
That's
yeah,
how many
they
fucking
do
hornets.
that.
And he ran and like got in the truck and rolled the windows up, and like I had to run. He was like, "Yo, you got to drive. You got to drive me to the hospital." So I had to jump in the truck, and he had about 40 hornets that made it in there with him that were, he was swatting them off of him, but I probably got stung like twice on the drive there, 2-3 times. But he got tore up, dude. He came back to work the next day. All of his shit was all fucking swollen up and stuff. They told him like, go home, dude. You're like poisoned. Like you're gonna be sick for the next couple days because you got too much hornet venom.
He needs a Benadryl.
Yeah, they gave him something cooler. I bet some shit we don't even know about.
Probably. They probably gave him ivermectin.
Yeah, that's a
today's
cure-all.
episode is brought to you by Tito's Vodka
And ivermectin.
and ivermectin. I like to put ivermectin in my Tito's Vodka so I don't ever get COVID.
I like to put them both up my ass.
And that's the best way to insert it. How you been, buddy? Tell me about yourself, man. Where you been living? Where you been staying? Who you been fucking?
Well, I've lived and stayed and fucked the same person for a long time
You've
now,
been
buddy.
living in her. That's cool.
Live
dude.
inside of her, sort of like a magic school bus situation.
All right, man. And the show starts now, dude.
Hell yeah. Do you think
Today's episode brought to you by Tito's Vodka.
No,
That
hey,
was good, dude.
This is what I want to know, man. Do you think that Mrs. Frizzle used the magic school bus after hours to be getting up to? I'm not saying anything sexual, dude, but maybe she would cause look, if I'm a teacher making $40,000 a year and I got a magic school bus and I can shrink it, I'm gonna shrink it and rob a bank or something. I'm gonna turn it invisible
I'd
and
like
rob
to
a bank.
shrink it and get inside a vending machine, man. See what's up, dude.
I guarantee.
See how
it,
the
dude.
magic really works.
We were talking before the episode started. Joey's obsessed with vending machines. It's
Let me
his
tell you a story real quick, man. I always wanted to get rich quick. And one day I woke up and I thought, man, I got to get a vending machine. But I'd watched some video on.
You want a turnkey operation?
Yeah, I had watched a video on on Facebook. It was just like one of them popped up on the reels, and this dude was like,
Here's how much money I made in one day
yeah,
from
he was
my
like,
vending
this
machine.
is my passive income. I bought this vending machine, blah blah blah. So
And
I
in his eyes, dollar sign.
proceeded to call a friend of mine who I will call out on the show because I don't give a fuck, and his name's Rowdy Yates. And I called him and I said, hey man, I got this dude. He's gonna sell us a vending machine for $500. Okay, your investment is $250. The most money you're gonna be out of this whole ordeal is $250. And
I'll
I
buy the
said,
first round of pop.
Yes.
I'll get the Sam's Club membership.
Yes, I will take care of all that shit. I said, just go in with me half on this vending machine.
I put it
He
on my
proceeds
front
to tell
porch.
me that he is broke and he doesn't want to go in on it. And then within the same week, he has bought a house, a farm, 15 chickens, a cow.
A divorce attorney.
They had another kid.
Oh, yeah.
All within a week.
Before that, damn.
And it was insane to me, the amount of money he spent that week. And I said, but
Coulda
you
got a vending
couldn't.
machine.
Yeah, dude, me and him would be rich
Could have
right
had
now.
a bad bitch.
He could have done so much.
Dude,
with
we'd
that
be
money,
set.
man.
You and I would be in fucking.
Hey man, you
Turks
what?
and
I tell you
Caicos
what,
right now.
so here's the deal. This episode will be dropping Monday.
Yeah.
So
Monday the
next
Monday.
Friday night in Madison, Indiana, at the Red Bicycle Hall, we are hosting a live episode of This Place Sucks, featuring 4 of the best comedians between Louisville and Cincinnati that
Yeah.
we have found.
At least 4.
If we just really hit the jackpot on the show.
6 of them performing, but 4 of them on the podcast.
Yes,
So
we're gonna buy a vending machine, dude, and it's gonna be called "This Vending Machine Sucks." And what it's gonna do, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna take your money. It's not gonna give you anything.
Nothing inside. Cans of water, dude.
Yeah, and we've got bets going on this show. If we don't sell a certain amount of tickets, he's gonna relapse on heroin, and I'm gonna go to the steel mill and get a real job.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst fates for both of us. You all don't want that to happen. So get on Madison Tickets. Is that what it's called?
Mad Ticks.
Mad
Just go
Ticks.
to-
Yeah.
if
No,
you're
it's
listening
not
to
Madison
this-
Tickets. It's Mad Ticks. My
Yeah.
bad.
If you're listening to this, that's the if you type in MadisonTickets.com, nothing's gonna come up.
Yeah, dude. Madison, Wisconsin.
Mad Ticks. Look, if you listen to this show, it's gonna be in the episode description. It's on our socials. It's this
It's on the
Friday,
Instagram,
this
yeah.
coming Friday, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
If you don't come, and you don't have the excuse of living far away,
A relative died.
a relative died, you
You're
have
out
to
of
work.
state.
You couldn't get off work, or you really couldn't get a babysitter and really tried, and you don't come,
Yeah.
you're dead to us.
Yeah.
You're dead
If you're
to
home
us.
with your thumb in your ass watching the Joe Rogan experience and not getting with the TPS experience,
Yeah,
dude.
which is
you
the next
suck.
generation, dude.
Yeah.
Get ready for this. Is phase 5 of podcasting, man. Rogan was phase fucking 3 and 4. That's dead. It's dead in the water. We're
Yeah.
coming up next. And if you're not hitched to our wagon, you know,
Calling out the juggernaut of
in
all
the first year-
podcasts.
yeah, dude. Well, dude, dream big
Or don't.
or
Don't
stay
dream
home.
at all, yeah.
Yeah. Dream
You
big
can't-
or wake the fuck
If you
up.
can't handle the heat, go to the drive-thru.
If you can't handle the meat, get out of the kitchen.
Can't handle the meat, get out of my ass, dude.
And that's all there is to it.
And this is going to be a
big.
very family-friendly comedy show. A lot of fucking...
Yeah, we're gonna have family members there. No, let me stress this again. Do not bring your kids.
Please, for the love of God, don't break it. 18 and up, dude.
18 and up. The flyer says 21 and up.
18
That's
and
because there's a bar,
up. Yeah.
but you can get in 18 and up. I think that's
If you
fair.
don't pay fucking taxes or can't die for country, don't come to the show.
I would allow 17-year-old with parental consent, like an NC-17 movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
How many fucks a NC-17 got though? We're gonna be dropping plenty of fucks.
Yeah. I don't know.
18 and up. Let's call it 18 and up.
man.
Just, it's going to be a good time. Not all the comics are even dirty. Like, a couple of the comics are clean.
Yeah.
We're not even, none of us are raunchy.
No.
Just don't
I don't
bring
think
your
it's going to be
kids.
madly offensive or anything like
Yeah.
that. But we are going to cut loose and have a good time. It's going to be fun.
You'll hear some curse words and some different shit. But, yeah, man,
We're going to party.
it's
going
going
to
to be a good time.
Like a rock star.
The fucking live podcast is going to sort of be an after party to the stand-up, and then we're going to do something afterwards. The comics will probably chill.
Yeah.
We'll probably go somewhere in town and all eat as a group, man. If you come to the show, you can come hang out with us. It'll be a good time.
Might hit the Drake. They stay open pretty late.
Drake stays open late.
I think
Shipley's.
Shipley's closes at midnight, don't they?
Not on the weekends.
I don't know. I don't go.
2
there.
a.m.
Is it 2?
And Central stays
Yeah.
open till 3, and 2nd Street stays
Yeah.
open till 3,
Yeah.
I think.
It's gonna be a
So
good time,
a bunch
dude.
of bars
Yeah.
are open. We'll
And
probably all
I know
go
everybody
somewhere.
that's going. I know several of them have told me, especially the ones that have babysitters that are really going to the show, that they plan on going out in Madison since they're already over there.
Yeah.
So
There's going to be some
yeah,
places
we're all
to get
gonna
some
go out. We're all
food.
gonna hang out. It's gonna be a good time, dude. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I can't
I
wait.
say, show starts at 8, right? Come over before.
Yeah.
Get you something to eat. I tried to get a food truck, man. I couldn't make it happen. Unless I can swing something last minute, we'll see. But go eat before. Come there, have some drinks, chill for 3 hours with us.
Yeah.
Afterward, go out to one of the several bars open in town.
Have a good
Have
time.
you a
It's
good
gonna be
time,
fun,
man.
It's gonna be a good night. I don't I don't really drink much anymore.
I don't drink at all, but I'll probably go out.
Yeah, he's gonna go out, but I don't really drink much anymore. I usually reserve my hangovers now for like a couple of special occasions.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have a hangover Saturday. I'm not gonna drink during the show. I'll probably be drinking for the podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
But
probably
I'm
crack
not
a beer
gonna.
or something.
I'm not gonna get drunk and try to host or do my set, nothing like that. But as soon as I'm done doing whatever I'm doing, we start the podcast. I'm gonna have a few beers, probably maybe a mixed drink or something.
You know what I think, dude? Hear me out.
Mm.
Friday night, Get done at 11 o'clock. If it goes off, if we sell a good deal of tickets, people show up and show out, let's fucking have an after party. Let's go to the casino, dude.
I wouldn't be opposed
Where
to
it's
that.
open late, you can get food and drinks all night.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed
We'll be
to
getting
that.
done at 11, you know, maybe say, hey, everybody that wants to, let's
Yeah.
go to fucking Belterra.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. There's plenty of options here. It's going to be insane.
So we're going to
Get your goddamn tickets. Come to the fucking show, regardless of what we decide to do. Like, you've got to, like, I'm telling you, like, everybody always wants to bitch about do something close, do something here. We want to see you do stuff. This is your chance.
Yeah.
This is your chance. If nobody shows up and nobody shows out, how are we expected to do more here? We're going to do more elsewhere, and we will find a following and a fan base elsewhere. So if
Yeah.
you really want to pretend that you're friends and family and all this shit, and you don't want to come out to the show, get fucked.
Well, not just that. Let me say this, too. There's a lot of bitching locally about, and for not that they're incorrect, but about there not really being a lot to do entertainment-wise.
Yeah, and here we are giving
locally.
you entertainment. Come out. It's going to be fun, dude.
And
We're
if
gonna
it
have a
goes
blast.
well, we want to make it a regular
Yeah.
thing. We want to bring comedy to Madison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, I can't see anywhere we would do it in Carrollton necessarily, but I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility,
Yeah.
because hear me out. Let's say this goes well, we keep doing shows. We're at a point where we want a 500-seat venue. Dude, maybe we'll do it at the fucking lodge. Maybe we'll do a real homecoming show. But it's not just about, hey, come out and support us. It's about, like, hey, if you guys want live comedy
Yeah.
and live music and that kind of shit to come around, you got to come out and support it. We're bringing 5 guys, 6 guys that, you know, are all really good comics that all could have potentially been on other shows this night in the city.
Yeah, and chose to do our show. So,
We want to show them that you guys want to see comedy.
Yeah.
But if you don't and you don't show out, that's okay. If you're our friends and then you don't show out, you're dead to us. But if you don't show out, that's okay. Just saying the next show probably won't be in Madison. We'll probably just do it for a lot cheaper somewhere down in Louisville. Because it would be really easy to get a bar to let us do it for free and just split the ticket money with them versus...
Yeah.
We'll be real with you guys. The $700. We can be transparent, dude. This is a DIY operation.
Yeah.
It costs $700 to rent out the Red Bicycle Hall with a bar for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot for people who host shows because usually you get a venue for free.
Right.
But for event, hosting, that's a pretty normal fucking price. That's not a bad price if you're in like the event spaces. Coordinating weddings and shit like that, you might understand that. But I'm not going to spend that again if people don't show out.
No. And you know what we're going to do after this episode?
Get some food.
We're going to Taco Bell,
Go
dude.
get some food, yeah.
Come back, record another one, take a nap.
And, maybe that's what we end up doing that night. Might just be a small group of us, and we go up to Taco Bell and smash some food, go down to the bar and play some pool, come back to my house and chill. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
It's going to be a good
we're gonna
time.
have a good time
I
one way
really
or the
hope
other.
to see everybody out, and I really hope to see, I know that that's going to be cool after the show when we do go, even if we just hit whatever. Everybody's going to be out and about in Madison, and people are going to,
Well,
it's
I
going
know
to be fun,
Jamie's
dude.
going to chill.
It's
And
going to
I
be a good
know
time.
Ethan's going to chill
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
2 of the comics. And I'm pretty sure that Max and Stone are going to chill. So some of the comics are going to be kicking it.
Yeah.
I know a few of the homies are going to kick it afterward. Chill,
And
man.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 bars. I wish the fucking Electric Lady would be open that night, dude.
Yeah. Well, they only open to
I know,
host
that's what I'm
events
saying,
now.
yeah. Because,
Mad Paddle's back open.
Yeah, there's
And
so
it's
much
huge.
shit going on. I mean, we could literally grab all the guys up and just take them a tour around Madison,
Yeah.
man. Just show them the shit, and
Yeah.
We'll
have a good time. We want to make it a thing. That's a big event.
Yeah.
Because look,
So I want them to appreciate coming out anyways and seeing Matt, because Madison's cool, dude. Madison doesn't get enough respect. I love Madison. Man.
I'm not
Like, there's a lot
licking
of
my
cool
own
shit.
toad here, but we're going to be doing shows much bigger than this regularly in the future. But
Yeah.
we want this to be a blowout
Yeah.
for all of our peoples.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what we do it for.
This is kind of the kickoff, honestly.
Yeah.
We've been planning this for a couple months now, but it's really just like kind of a kickoff event for much bigger shit we
Sometimes
want
I
to do
think
down the
that we have
road.
to sit back and think of like how far we've come in 6 months.
Yeah.
and how far we've come with the show in almost a year now.
Yeah.
And we also have a lot of tenure and a lot of experience in podcasting in general. We've been doing this shit since 2019, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
we're well over 5
Been a
years
long
in the game.
time.
Yeah, and it's damn time that we start.
Took a while to
fucking,
navigate.
Yeah,
Figure
but
out where we wanted to
we
be.
paid the dues. You know, we were on the Podbean. We were on the fucking. You know,
We were
we
just
did
talking
so
about
much
that.
shit. You know.
So get with the showgram, dude. There's a
Yeah.
history here, a lore
Yeah.
that you could be a part of. You could be that nerd on Reddit in 10 years being like, well, I was listening since the Obscure Curio.
Yep.
And people being like, what the fuck is that? People, oh, let me put you on game. Because as of right now, the only place you can get that whole catalog is on a Patreon that's going to be going away as soon as I start this Patreon.
Yeah.
So I still have all the episodes. I'll probably put them on an archive somewhere one day.
Right.
But that's ancient lore, dude.
Yeah.
That's some people might have the episodes downloaded on their computer and shit, but
I'm sure there's a few.
yeah, dude.
And them were the wild days, man. Them days were crazy.
Oh,
Podbean
bro,
was insane.
Andrew has hard drives from like 2006 and 7.
That's
He
not
has
surprising.
a
yeah, that
Night
does
in the
not
Loft
shock me.
on his hard drive.
That's bad.
yeah,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad, dude. That's crazy.
yeah. But some people
That's
keep shit.
crazy work. Hey, man, what'd you do this past Sunday?
But come out to the show. You guys are gonna have a good time. Yeah, man. We did the Bringer show down there at Louisville Comedy Club on Sunday. A Bringer show, for those of you that don't know, it's kind of like a fucking battle of the band situation. If you do music, you got to bring the audience members out. You got to sell tickets. What?
Camera.
Did you already do the timer?
I set one for 20 minutes.
Okay, well it's 29. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I said it after we'd already started recording when you said we're recording.
Oh,
so
okay.
that goes.
Well, I'll go ahead and turn it over.
I was just making
Dude,
sure, dude.
I'm gonna restart the episode.
And I'm
We're only at 18 minutes total.
Would get mad at me for trying to fucking help, dude.
way.
Jesus Christ.
They started it after we.
I did, motherfucker. I set it for 32. It's 31. I was going to do it before my phone went. drrrr.
What do you mean? You set a timer?
You know,
Here,
hey,
man.
I tell you what, dude.
I'm gonna set
be
one
chill here. I've
for
grown up
12
in the
minutes.
past few years.
In the past few minutes,
You
dude.
set your own fucking timer. And
Don't worry
ask
about
me
it,
and
dude.
mine for nothing ever again, dude. How about that?
First of all, act like you've done this before. We're talking about
have.
how we've been doing this for 5 years. You set the timer for the wrong time. It's fine, dude.
about
Doesn't make you a giant idiot or
About to
anything.
take my
Just own
bong,
up
go
to it.
home, dude. Why don't you get you a new
You didn't
fucking
bring a
co-host,
bong, dude. You ain't
Said
never brought
ball.
a.
Clean
Where
your
is your
ears up.
proof? Go fuck your mother. That's where my fucking proof is. People on the internet piss me off. It's like, first of all,
I'd deflect too if I was in this situation.
what'd you say,
Go ahead.
dumbass?
tell me
What'd your
about that.
retarded
Tell me.
ass say? I'm gonna take my ball and go home
Yeah,
because you
dude.
didn't
Fuck
appreciate
you,
my
all right?
timer for 20 minutes. That's useless. Yeah, no way.
I
can
tell you
be
what, dude, I'm gonna take my check next week and I'm gonna buy a goddamn camera that doesn't click off every 30 seconds.
Well, dude, go ahead and
How
take your
about
fucking
that?
check.
Fuck you.
Go buy a
dude.
camera that doesn't click off. See, you knew it there, 30. Remember? It was 30. It's actually 29. It clicks off at like
You
29
really
exactly.
hurting my feelings with your bullshit.
Look, it's fine. The only reason you had a 20-minute alarm set, I'm going to help you here, is because the last episode I told you to set it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but
because
we'd already
we
been
were already-
talking and the camera was recording before
Well-
you sat down even.
Yeah.
So therefore, I put it because
No.
time has already happened.
You said it while we were talking, but I hadn't hit record yet when you said it. You hit it 2 minutes
so you
before I
tell
hit
me
record.
if you shouldn't have, you should have communicated better. Is what you're telling me.
If it were me, I wouldn't have said it until I hit the camera
Well, this
button.
is me not ever
Remember when
setting
I
it
clapped?
again, dude.
Remember when I clapped?
This is me not.
That's when you said it. No,
ever
you got
again.
it. You're the
No,
timer set,
I
dude.
got the timer. You can set right here, dude.
No, I set up the
They're-
camera
they're
and the
gonna-
mics
they're
and
gonna
all
love
that.
this
All
episode.
this is getting cut
No,
out.
they're gonna love
dude.
this shit because they're gonna see the real behind the scenes of us. It's not always.
The real
This is
behind the
the-
scenes is that you're gonna
What's
continue
Gabby
to set.
Petito's
We'll both
boyfriend's
forget about
name?
this conversation by the next time we
We're
record.
vlogging.
Nah, look, dude. Stop talking about the Gabby Petito situation. That kid, that dude was somebody's son, man.
Woo!
No, it is sad though.
It
but
is. I haven't watched
I
the
had that
documentary
lined up
because
for
I
you.
feel dirty watching it. I don't feel right watching it, man.
But also I never watch shit like that. But also I
mean,
know
I
every
watch-
detail of the
I
case
watch true crime
peripherally.
shit. I have no problem watching true crime shit. I just really the amount I've seen the story, it just feels like they're exploiting it, and I've seen enough. When they do a Dateline 2020 on it after it happens, it's done. I don't need a 2-hour documentary on it too. Like I know what happened.
I don't watch
I get
any
it. I don't
murder
wanna
documentaries necessarily.
read his manifesto. I
but-
don't want to know what park it happened. Like I don't care, dude. Like I'm done with it. Like I'm tired of that. It just feels like they're just running her through the mud when she didn't do anything wrong. She was the victim.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're just exploiting her and making money off this poor girl who just wanted to travel and work at Taco Bell.
Well, I think that's 90% of
I'm
the industry
done.
of true crime. Not
I'm
necessarily
done.
true crime, but the murder genre of true crime
No, like
is
I don't have a
exploitative.
problem. I don't have a problem with if they made a documentary on Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't think that's exploitive. I think the TV show Dahmer with that one fucking wad from American Horror Story, I think that was exploitive.
Was
You
it?
see the difference? That's the difference
I
to
didn't
me.
watch either of them.
Like the difference to me is like if you make a documentary on something horrific that happened for educational purposes, that's fine. When we start like the Zac Efron fucking Ted Bundy movie and like that kind of shit, like that's
Yeah, but what are
exploitive
we
to me.
educating? Like, what is the education that's happening in the Ted? Because it's already been done a million times. What new
That's-
education are you getting
that's
out
what
of
I'm
it? You know what I
saying.
mean?
That's what I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. Like it's
Oh,
already been
okay.
done.
Yeah.
We know. We know
Yeah.
what happened with the Manson family. We know what happened in Dahmer's fucking basement. We know all this shit. Just like they're doing the Charlie Hunnamans playing Ed Gein. And it's like that to me seems exploitive when we're doing live action true crime. Versus if they just made a documentary or like I don't even want a fucking miniseries.
yes, because also
Like if you just do an hour and a half.
right now they're
whatever.
capitalizing on the
Yes.
popularity of
Yes.
it, which is super
Yes.
exploitative.
That's what
I
I'm
think the documentaries and the movies though can be equally exploitative or
And they can.
educational or even artistic. Like I think there's something into doing a movie that delves into the psychology
Yeah.
of a killer because people should be
But,
aware
like,
that folks
sometimes
like that
there's
exist. but-
Sometimes there's a point to it, like Mindhunter, for instance. There's a point to Mindhunter.
now I did watch that because it was really good.
Yes, but it has a point though because that shows how far we've come with true crime as
Yeah.
a actual unit
And
on
criminal
how,
psychology and all that sort of
Yes,
shit.
Mindhunter
yeah.
had a point. I loved Mindhunter.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's different than
Well, see, the thing
exploiting
with
victims.
the Gabby Petito thing is that it follows the very deep history of American media, just soaking every last drop of content they can out of presumably innocent white girl getting murdered.
right.
Whether she goes missing, whether she gets killed by her boyfriend, whether she falls off a cliff and it's an accident, they'll milk the shit out of it because it's like the easiest thing to get sympathy. I mean, that was literally the point of us naming our band Dead White Girls.
Yeah.
Was that is the easiest thing to get people's attention on the news. And I thought of that based off like a old Family Guy joke. They made a reference to it. They did something that's like, this gets more views on the evening news than a dead white girl.
Yeah.
And that was like where the name came from, which was a band I was in way back in the day. Deep lore, dude. I told you guys were going to be in
Deep
from the
lore, man.
beginning.
Deep lore. We tried to bring it back, and we started
I
doing
agree with
stand-up, and now we're not.
Very exploitative. But I also, in general, this is me, right? The only shit related to that I ever was really into was I used to love Lock Up. Like Lock Up Raw and Lock Up
Yeah.
Abroad, 60 Days In, those type of shows. Doing Time ruined that shit for me. A lot of other inmates and criminals, felons and fucking ex-cons, they all love that shit. They watch it in there, they watch it on the streets, they watch Cops. What's that fucking new cop show, Live PD?
Yeah.
They love all that shit. That kind of soured me on it. And then also just existing in the world and just being entirely too aware of how bad people suck. I feel like I know enough about criminal psychology. I get it. I get that people break, and I get that there's a variety of reasons. I don't really care enough to know anymore of
Right.
like, oh man, there's another fucked up guy I didn't know existed,
Yeah.
and fucked up shit happened to them. Oh, I can't believe that. It's all worn out from me. Not that it's like because it sucks or that some of it's not smart. It's just like I've had enough negativity that at the very least I'd rather watch a fictionalized version. I'd rather watch something like True Detective if I'm gonna see people get murdered.
I would take more Aileen Wuornos content if they did something with her.
Hers isn't entirely, she was crazy ultimately,
that's
but
Our
there's some
Lady
good,
of Florida, dude.
there's some good like revenge stuff in
Yeah,
there that's
yeah.
nice.
I fucked with her. She was alright.
But she did also kill some people that. She killed some dudes that only because they were trying to fuck a prostitute, which I don't
Yeah.
think that makes you
No.
worthy of getting killed.
And they also,
or
the
a
police
bad
also
guy.
knew what she was doing, and they let her continue to do it.
You
That's a real thing. That happened.
she was wild. I also think, hear me out, man, and I've been saying this to anybody who will listen for ever since I read that last Charles Manson book, the what the fuck was it called? Charles Manson, the CIA, all that shit by I think it was something O'Neill. He went on the Joe Rogan Experience to talk about it, but I think that whole wave of serial killers that you had from the 60s up through the 80s were all every single one of them were touched by the CIA MK Ultra shit at some point.
And it might have been.
Like, we know for a fact Manson was. Pretty
Mhm.
good suspicions that Aileen Wuornos was.
Yeah.
Not a serial killer, but the Unabomber was.
Mhm.
One of the serial killers, BTK,
Bomb,
had some
torture,
sort of
kill.
connection to where MK Ultra started, which was at the drug farm in Lexington, Kentucky,
Yeah.
which was like the first scale rehab with like a methodology.
BTK was buying torture kill. Who was the
I think his name was Dennis.
Who was the one that had that hairline, man? Said his dog told him to do it.
Was that the son of Sam?
Son of Sam, yeah. I don't know why.
Ramirez?
No.
Richard? No, that was
He
the
was the
Night
Night
Stalker,
Stalker.
Richard Ramirez.
Son of Sam, I forget his name.
Bukowski? Not Bukowski.
Something with-
Berkowitz? Was he son of Sam?
Berkowitz, yeah.
Is that son of
I
Sam?
think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so. They wasn't Berkowitz on a, was he on a Mindhunter? Did they
Mhm.
do one on him? Yeah.
Him, Richard Speck, Ed Kemper,
Ed
Charlie
Kemper,
Manson.
yeah, that one was really good. I think that was my favorite
the
one.
co-ed killer, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all that shit's pretty crazy. But yeah, a lot of them were, because here's the thing, a lot of them were in jails and rehabs through that time. And there's ample evidence that the CIA, through not just MK Ultra as a mind control program, but to study the effects of drugs and shit like that in general, they were deep into all kinds of jails, prisons, and rehab institutions all through the United States, especially in rural areas.
There's probably some truth to it.
And it seems
There's
like a
probably
lot of
something
them were touched by that at some point. Just like anybody who's in any kind of like philanthropy, money laundering nowadays was touched by the Epstein shit.
Hey man, where's your time rat, dude? A lot of that shit though is also the media and how the media wants to play it.
What do you mean?
Like the media wants to the media will focus in on certain things. Like okay, so what has the media talked about more than anything the past few months this year is plane crashes, right?
Well, that's because they're happening more than they usually
But
happen.
They're not though.
They are.
This time last year, there was more plane crashes than there were this year.
Not
That's
in the
fact.
U.S. Yeah,
That's
but not
fact.
in the U.S.
But I'm just saying, though.
But that is something, though. We have the highest air standards in the entire world, and we have the
But
fewest crashes here.
but
So
that's
I disagree on the media
but
hyping that
that's
up.
the media hyping that shit up.
It's not. It is very notable, very, very notable that crashes are happening in the United States. Yes, crashes are more common than you think. Malfunctions, shit like that, emergency landings, but they're almost always in other nations that have way, way lower standards than the FAA. The FAA's standards immediately got lowered. Day one, Donald Trump went into office. He's trying to lower them even further and do away with universal security and let each airline do their own security. That's a whole different thing. But the fact that they're happening in the U.S. is not overblown. That is a big, big fucking deal. I'll revert though and agree with you on the media thing on a different point. Similar, the drones. That is a nothing burger completely.
No, yeah.
That is everybody owns a drone. There are 3 dudes in Madison who post 4K drone footage in the local groups all the time. Yeah,
every day.
I see their
Beautiful
drones
shots.
go by.
Amazing.
All of these are happening, in areas that have more people, meaning there's
Right.
going to be more people that have drones and shit like that. Yeah, it's not. That's the media overhyping shit, and the serial killer shit to an extent. But I think that's intentional. I think part of the whole reason we had serial killers was to scare the shit out of the public.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the news propagates like violence and crime. They make it seem like there's more than there really is.
They love that shit.
And there's a reason. They want people to be scared of each other. I mean, in America, you could argue that living in rural America might be one of the safest places on earth you could possibly fucking be. But people in rural America are also the most likely to bolt down their doors, have security systems and guns inside because they're scared to death that somebody's going to fucking break in their house. Most of them are antsy, hoping somebody does, so they have an excuse to use the guns and security system and all that shit that they paid so much money for. But that's because we've cultivated fear here, not just of terrorism and fucking whatever, communism and this and that. It's,
Socialism.
We're scared of each other.
All the isms.
You think every guy could be a serial killer. You think anybody fucking on a road at night hitchhiking could be fucking a serial killer,
And they could be.
But the chance is actually way more likely that a serial killer would have a car than be hitchhiking, if you think about it.
They found Jack the Ripper.
Did they? I've heard that that's like also not true.
And it could be, I don't know.
That like a bunch of the shit.
Already was flying a plane, dude, and crashed it. Man. Killed everybody, every whore.
Well, didn't they find your boy? Didn't they really?
In 1888, man.
Didn't they really solve the Zodiac? Didn't they decode a couple of his messages?
They did, but I don't think they ever officially like if you still look it up, it's still considered a cold
mystery.
case. Like it's still not. I don't think they've ever updated.
But they did find BTK in Golden State in the last several years.
I did watch the documentary they put out on Zodiac on Netflix that made a pretty compelling argument that Arthur Lee Allen was the Zodiac killer, which is also the David Fincher movie Zodiac with Gyllenhaal. That was like the main.
Love that movie.
That was the main focal point of that film, was that it was Arthur Lee Allen, and then that Netflix documentary will really make you think that it was Arthur Lee Allen.
The craziest
but
thing
there still wasn't ever enough evidence
is 5 years after the killing stopped, there was a very similar pattern happening over in Asia, where they were also sending the authorities cryptic messages in a very similar code, and they were calling him the Chinese Zodiac killer.
And that's good. I
Thank
like
you.
that. But yeah, I always found it like
taking that on the road.
Arthur was in prison, and when he got out, the first new Zodiac letter appeared. Shit like that. Like there was a lot of evidence that it was probably that's Dave Toshi and all those guys that were investigating. They all thought it was Arthur Lee.
Yeah.
So it really just depends.
Chaos.
But I did see a lot of shit though that
Chaos was the name of that Manson book.
Yeah.
You really need to.
That was the one you told me to read.
I really think it's going to change your opinion on the entire affair.
I'm sure it will. I'm not doubting that.
So much of that helter-skelter, race war, satanic nonsense was all didn't exist before the prosecutor published his book Helter Skelter about the fucking case. And then man, there's like the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic in San Francisco. Like there's 20 different CIA agents that worked out of that have all been allowed to admit because enough time has gone by. Like, we were doing operations there on the effects of using LSD and mescaline to basically form a cult around an individual. And that's the same time Manson pops up. None of them confirmed, like, yes, we did it to Manson. But they said, basically, we had a program to create a Manson archetype to see if we could do it. Now, scale that out long term. If they were able to figure out a way to get your average person to pledge undying, murderous loyalty to just a random individual,
Right.
You could see that being of use to a government.
Mhm.
Make a whole bunch of people just have
Sounds
like a
like something they
really
would do.
irrational loyalty to a guy for no, explainable reason. That could be. Maybe they're slipping it in the water, dude.
Maybe. I'll drink to that.
Here's the real fucking scandal, dude. They told us, right? They let slip that there was fluoride in the water, so all the conspiracy theorists would stop drinking the tap water, when in reality they were putting an undetectable agent in the bottled water. You know what I'm saying? There's something in the filters they sell. Only 2 companies in the U.S. make 90% of the filtration systems, man. So maybe there's something in that system. The shit they use comes from one of these companies, like proprietary filters. Maybe there's something in that leaches into the fucking water, so that it's not the fucking fluoride in the tap water, man. They want you to filter the water, dude. I'm just talking out of my ass.
Martha Washington used to smoke weed every day, man.
You see how easy it is to come up with a fucking completely retarded conspiracy theory, but there's enough strings to tie together based on real shit, all that Manson shit. Real, documentable, like pretty verifiable now. The CIA created a serial killer, and they probably did it more than once. But I can expand on that and tell you fucking... They used whatever they used in the Manson family. They took the psychotropic effects out of it that left in the fucking mind, all, the fucking brainwashing effects. They put it in the fucking water. When we found out about it, they were like, oh, we'll put it in the filter, and then they'll stop drinking the tap water, and everybody will drink the same shit, dude. I'm telling you. I made that up,
And
but
who
it's
knows,
real.
man.
I'm going to make a YouTube documentary over the next week. It's going to be 4 or 5 hours long. It's going to be a lot of AI generated.
It's going to be him in a van just driving around the parks.
But yeah, you want to come up with one?
I'm not I'm not getting in a van with you.
Try to come up with a conspiracy theory, dude. Let's start somewhere real, right? There was probably more than one shooter on that grassy knoll. There's probably an extra shooter on the grassy knoll. Expand on that, dude.
What grassy knoll are you talking?
JFK, the grassy knoll.
Oh, man, I don't...
Get wild with it, dude.
The JFK shit's annoying to me. I've never been... the JFK assassination has never once sparked my interest.
I watched a documentary about it in like high school that just really, it's what cracked my fucking head wide open into conspiracies and things. Because I 100% believe he was killed by the mob, hired by H.W. Bush.
Sure he was, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doubting there's a conspiracy. I'm not doubting that there was multiple shooters. I'm not doubting that Harvey Lee Oswald was innocent. I'm not doubting any of that shit. I've read a lot of stuff on it. It just never...
Do you think that Trump will...
interest?
Well, let's get away from it then and talk current events.
No, it's
Do you
fine.
think
You
Trump
talk about whatever
will...
you want. I'm just saying.
Do you think he'll really declassify shit this time? Because he said he was going to declassify JFK last time and resealed it. Said, no, I read it. You're not ready for it. Just hold off. That's what he said. You think he says he's going to unseal the JFK, MLK files, and some other shit. Do you think he's going to do it?
I mean...
I don't think so, man.
What is there to gain if there was something to open it now for them?
Well, do you want to know my theory on it? Is that he's going to use that to point to the FBI and CIA and a few of these other 3-letter organizations that have done nefarious stuff in the past, and he's going to use that as the accelerant on his campaign of infiltrating and ultimately shutting down or at least taking control of these institutions. So he's going to say, look, man, we know the FBI killed MLK. We know the CIA killed JFK. We know they did this, this, and this. I'm going to go in there and clean house. And Republicans are going to be on board no matter what. And even a lot of fucking, independents and center Democrats are going to be like, well, yeah, he's got a point. They did kill our boy Martin. maybe they should be taken down.
Well, does he have a point in a sense of they shouldn't be lying to us?
He's got a point in, yes, all of that is true. He's going to use it to the negative effect of
No, I'm not saying he's not going to use it to a
a
negative effect.
Trump-owned
but-
FBI is not going to be good for anybody. But here's the bad situation we're in, and this, for better or worse, the government has embedded all of its good qualities with its bad qualities, right? So, like, the FBI does a lot of really, really good shit nowadays. They are almost solely responsible for cracking down on sex trafficking globally. You know what I mean? They play the biggest role in that of any government organization from any other country on the globe. They also shut down a lot of organized crime. Shit, I mean, they've saved a child of someone we know in an FBI operation from a literal dungeon from which she was about to be sold into sex slavery.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of good work, but at the same time they do shit like try to blackmail MLK into killing himself and then ultimately hire somebody to kill him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they did a civil case in the 90s wherein the FBI was found guilty of conspiracy to kill Martin Luther King. However, because it was a civil case, there's no criminal repercussions for the
That's
FBI.
crazy.
It was more symbolic than
Right.
anything. But yeah, it's pretty common knowledge.
It just seems to me like maybe I'm naive in a sense of like we're not living in the end times.
I don't think it's the end times. I just think it's the end of the world we grew up in. But at the same time, it's been slowly changing the whole time. I think the world has changed more in the last 100 years period
Yeah.
than it ever has in any 100 or
I mean, doesn't
1,000-year
bad
block
shit usually
before.
happen every 2,000 years, man? I mean, aren't we due for something
It's not that.
catastrophic?
It's just that everything we do is accelerated now, right? Like, think about it. It
You
took
think
us.
the asteroid's going to hit us?
Yeah, I don't think it's not a world ender, but if it does, it's gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
But it took us 1,700 years to
Crazy.
come up with the combustion engine, right? Between the combustion engine and the computer was like another 200-300 years, and the computer's only been around for like 70 years, and
Yeah.
look how far it's come.
Yeah.
Our generation, we're experiencing the biggest acceleration of culture and technology, period. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, I do think you're being naive to how much the game, the social and economic game of America is about to change.
I really feel like it's
The globe.
It's probably going to just fall.
It's going to become something else. It's going to become a different nation than it is now. I mean, you're seeing the U.S. align itself with Russia against NATO, changing allyship for the first time in 100 years. It's going to be different. Prior to Trump even taking office, the oil is no longer traded in the dollar. They've got that BRIC system now.
Yeah.
So, the America we grew up in has been degrading before our eyes. Trump's just really, honest to God, accelerating it for better or worse. Now, if he takes it, let's be honest. If the Heritage Foundation and his backers take it in the direction they want to,
Yeah.
they will devolve America into a corporate, like, Christian-esque fascist kleptocracy. You know what I mean?
Gross.
They will go full, like, anarcho-capitalist with, like, probably a separation into regions, everything done, by conservative Christian standards. But it won't last. No, whatever they do next, I think won't last. Even if they, like, Trump dies tomorrow, everybody has a change of heart. They put Bernie in office. He puts in the best version of democratic socialism that any leftist could possibly want. I don't think that America lasts as the version we've seen for the last, 100 years. This global superpower and all this stuff. I think China's going to overtake us economically and militarily. I don't think they're going to be like we were. I don't think they're going to invade and do all this. They're much more of a drawn out economic sort of hitman sort of situation. But
And maybe it needs to end, man. Maybe the world needs a nice reset.
I'm scared, I'm anxious, but ultimately I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. It's not going down the way I wanted it, but whatever has, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever has.
Hell yeah, man.
They say to expect the unexpected. How, motherfucker? It's unexpected. If I start expecting it, guess what?
It's become expected.
Yeah, dude. You can't. If you know the unknown, guess what it becomes?
No.
Known. But
Crazy.
there's some unknowns you don't even know that you don't know.
And you know what's in between them, man? The doors.
Yeah. Push on through to the other side.
For real, that's the thing. It's the doors, man.
I do like the Doors, man. They come up on my post-punk playlist now, which is weird.
That is odd.
But it's some of their songs I think fit the vibe, dude. I think People Are Strange is a goth song, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think they were, they're probably, I mean, I'm not saying they're not correctly rated, but I do think they're probably one of the greatest rock bands ever.
They're good.
That, man.
Of all those, you know what? I'll say they're underrated because I think they're put below in the, like, classic rock bands of those eras. They're put below a lot of bands. Like, I like them better than any band you can buy a t-shirt of at Walmart. I think the only two I actually even like are the Misfits and the Doors. I'm not an AC/DC fan, not a big Led Zepp guy. I guess I like Metallica. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I think the Doors are amazing, man. I think it's what's crazy to me is that Jim did all that before 27.
Well, Hendrix, man, all of those 27 Club guys.
I'm not downplaying all of them. I'm just saying, like, Jim's whole body of work, like, it's just crazy to me that.
Is it midnight already?
It's midnight in
Montgomery,
on
the dot, dude.
I think it's crazy everything Jim did before he was 27. Everything Jimi Hendrix did before he was 27 is crazy too.
All of them, dude. Joplin, even Kurt Cobain. I'm not a huge Nirvana
dude.
head.
It's crazy because Kurt looks way fucking older than 27.
Yeah, but I listen to my favorite Nirvana shit is their like punkier shit, and that shit I do think, man, like maybe if they had been around a little bit longer. Maybe they would have come out with some even better shit.
They could have.
But, you know, those people all,
I personally don't.
Maybe they would have sucked, dude.
Yeah, I personally don't think they would have.
Burn out, not fade away.
I don't think that they would have got music. I don't think that they would have made anything that me personally
Was Tupac 27?
No. Amy Winehouse, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix. There was somebody else that was very notable. That was also in the 27.
See, when you don't die, you go on to form like Wings and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And just, I guess it doesn't tarnish her.
I don't think Amy Winehouse gets enough respect, man.
That's another. Ringo's at that Bourbon and Beyond.
Yeah, I do like Ringo, man.
For him, Pixies, and I'll be honest with you, Third Eye Blind. I would almost go to that.
Ringo's my second favorite Beatle.
Yeah, same. I wrote a song about an octopus.
It goes George, Ringo, Paul, Yoko, the roadies, the tour manager, the dude that drove
chill,
the bus,
dude. We get it.
And then John Lennon.
I don't hate John. Lennon,
I don't hate John Lennon either.
But he is my least favorite Beatle. And I do think I watched a what's her name?
Honestly, Yoko fucking was ass too. When
I know
she's
you're
screaming
not
in that mic, dude, I could kill myself.
Big on like video essay YouTubers and shit, but there's a very popular one named Lindsay Ellis who disappeared for a few years. She came back late last year and dropped a video about how it was like everybody's wrong about Yoko, and it was like a deep dive, and it totally changed my perspective. And now I'm like, oh, it's kind of a cliche and cringe to be like, oh yeah, Yoko Ono ruined the Beatles.
Oh no, I don't think she ruined the Beatles. I just don't like her singing.
Especially if you watch that. Yeah, I agree with all that. Her music
her
wasn't
as a person,
that good.
she seemed fine. I
Her
never
music
did
wasn't
dislike
good.
Yoko. I just when she screams in the fucking microphone, I want to kill myself.
But
I hate
a
it.
narrative was definitely built by
You know who
Beatles
broke
fans.
up the Beatles?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with
You
Yoko.
can see that in the Peter Jackson
You
shit.
have when you take four guys that are as talented as those four guys were, and two of them have the egos of Paul and John, it was never going to work.
Yeah.
It didn't matter about Yoko. Like, Yoko's, that's a side piece that doesn't...
And Harrison should have left after Sgt. Pepper's and just went and started his own band right
The
there
whole
anyway.
thing should have ended after Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing the Beatles did after Sgt. Pepper's that come close to Sgt.
But either
Pepper's.
way, if you watch this, it changes your perspective on A, not only did she not break up the Beatles, not only B, was she like pretty well abused by John Lennon, verbally
He was good at
abused
that, man.
by Paul to an extent. Her and Paul have made up. Her and Ringo are very close nowadays. And
He's probably
George
getting him a little something.
George was on her side the whole time.
Yeah.
He like secretly was like, yeah, I don't think, you know, like even John was using her as an excuse to like get out of the band at the
Yeah.
time. He was like, well, they don't like my girlfriend. Fuck 'em.
I'm pretty sure there was an interview where I think it was George. He said that
Worst butt cheeks on the planet, the both of them.
yeah, ass, literally.
Yeah.
That Lennon always tried to paint it like George looked up to him and shit and all this stuff, and then after the fact, like George was like, "No, not really. Like I never."
No, man.
You know, yeah, no.
No, he's not really
No.
playing me sort of music, you know.
No. George was my favorite though, man. I love.
You know, I
his
was never a
solo shit,
Beatles
dude.
guy. I'll admit I was kind of on that, you know, the Beatles are overrated kind of train until
No,
I was
Beatles
in
are great. I'm not
in
dogging
prison.
them.
I got to
Right.
see both that old documentary about them that came out on BBC back in like the 90s, came on PBS, and then PBS had a like big box set that they were selling, so they were playing the whole thing through, and you could like buy it afterwards.
Yeah.
Documentary with like, you know, music performances throughout, and then, you know, the Peter Jackson shit that came out like right when I got out of prison.
King Kong and all that.
Did he do that movie?
Peter Jackson did, yeah.
No, he did a Beatles documentary
Yeah,
that came
but
out. He had footage from
I was
like back in
making-
the
I was
day that
making
he
the-
sat on for 30
Yeah, I
years.
was making the joke because Peter Jackson directed King Kong.
He also directed Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So like great body of work altogether.
Yeah,
He got a
yeah.
Beatles doc.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got King Kong. You know, underrated gorilla movie, Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young's a banger, dude.
I'll tell you, underrated comedian, old school guy, used to write for The Simpsons. Not clean, but not super dirty. Dana Gould.
Yeah.
I watched
Dana's
his.
not bad.
I don't know how new it is. It was dropped.
He's no
on-
Dana Carvey, but he's
Yeah.
alright, dude.
But he had a good Mighty Joe Young bit. I can't remember what it was, but it was about something about his fucking brother being dumb and them watching some movie, and he was like, "Yeah, that'd be like Mighty Joe Young or a gorilla watching Mighty Joe Young," and being like, "Oh, it's about me." But it made
That's
me think
good.
about Mighty Joe Young again, which was a great movie.
it
I love
was.
Mighty Joe Young, dude. When I was a kid, I begged my mom to take me to see it. Went and saw it in theaters. Got it on DVD when it came out. I was a fucking MJY head, dude.
You were a Mighty Joe fan, dude.
I was mighty young at the time,
But
Joe.
to close out on that Beatles thing, man,
You like it?
I think that they were great, and I do think they changed music. And the reason I say that is because
But Beatles heads are annoying.
No, Beatle fans suck, but most fandoms of anything suck. Trust me, I'm in a lot.
I
of
hate a
them.
dude in a corduroy jacket
But-
telling me I gotta listen to the White Album on vinyl to really appreciate it. First of all, dude,
The
get
White
the
Album's
fuck out
not
of my
as
face.
good as Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, and also
Stop.
those glasses are for women.
Yeah,
You know what
for
I mean?
sure. I think, well, two of the most influential and most important people in rock and roll, Ozzy Osbourne and Lemmy Kilmister, both said they remember before there was the Beatles and they remember after there was the Beatles. And
Dude.
if that,
All
did-
the
if
punk
we
bands.
got, yeah, I
Listen
mean, I'm
to
not
any of them
shitting on
talk
the Beatles
about.
at all.
Listen to all the guitarists, especially from your favorite
Yeah.
fucking bands, that they all started playing guitar and learned Beatles songs and Chuck Berry songs, dude.
Yeah.
That's what all
Yeah.
of them learned to play the guitar on. All my favorite like punk bands, The Clash, The Damned.
Was there
fucking-
any before Helter Skelter? Was there any song that was as heavy as Helter Skelter?
There's a few. I
I'm not
watched a
saying
video
Chuck
that was
Berry
like
and the gang didn't throw fucking down. 'cause
punk
they
rock
did.
and metal, the prototypes, and it was like
Yeah.
every prototypical song.
Yeah,
What was that dude?
Chuck Berry was before the Beatles, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not-
yeah,
I
yeah.
was about to say I didn't fuck that up.
Yeah,
I'm not
Helter
saying
Skelter is
That is probably one of the heaviest songs
Yeah.
for that.
It's
like
definitely a lot of musical historians would classify that as the first like proto
Yeah.
metal song.
And it wasn't even the guitar or the drum. It's Paul screaming.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's what does it for me. That song's hard.
Yeah, there's a couple, around that same time, similar that you can make the argument, but I still love that song. I love the Beatles version.
Yeah,
I love the
Motley
Susie and the
Crue's
Banshees.
version.
Motley Crue's version's
fucking
good.
tough. You know who I don't like?
Hmm.
And I don't give a fuck if I catch any flack for this because my parents camp a lot with like, all of them are older and like they just, I get it. And I've argued with my dad about this too because me and him I owe a lot of my musical interests and a lot of my musical knowledge to my father and his brother and my uncle. But I don't fucking like the Rolling Stones. I can't fucking stand them. I've never liked them, and I've given it a shot. I've listened to a lot of their shit, and I just don't. Obviously, Sympathy for the Devil's amazing.
You like Painted
Black's fine. But, like, okay, cool, I can name 2 songs out of your entire catalog that I like. I don't fucking, and I know you will disagree.
I'm not a huge Rolling Stone
I would
head
put
at all.
Led Zeppelin over fucking Rolling Stones, in my opinion. That's just me. But they did way more shit that I personally enjoyed than the Rolling Stones. This isn't a matter of fact. This is a matter of opinion. This is me personally. And I don't care what anybody says. I've listened to enough Rolling Stones to know that I don't fucking like them, and I really just never understood.
That's fine, dude.
And
I'm
I
not
also,
a Rolling
I also
Stones
wasn't
head,
there.
so I don't have a dog in the
I
fight.
wasn't there.
But
I
I'm
get
also
the ones that were that But there was
I
plenty of other
understand.
bands like
People
Zeppelin and
rate
Aerosmith
them
and just
against
their
the
shit.
Beatles, though. Like
And I
that's
don't get-
people's
and
against.
that is fucking insane.
And I don't
to
think
me,
they're very
dude.
similar sounding.
No, there's nothing. Like I don't. I get to an extent like the
Yeah, I'm
time
not a-
period and shit, but I don't fucking understand.
I would put them on equal footing
the
in my
love
own
of
book
fucking
with Zeppelin. That's just me.
Rolling Stone, and that's fine. That's fine even, but they're not the Beatles, and they didn't do what the Beatles did. Like
No,
stop
man.
that.
And you also got to get the people forget, like, it's not just like, oh, listen to fucking some old Beatles songs and see how hard they rock. It's like, no. They invented playing styles.
Yeah.
They invented recording techniques. It's like there's a lot of shit.
I put the Who over the Rolling Stones, man.
I put the Who kind of far up there with all those bands.
Keith Moon was fucking
one of the best drummers
Yeah.
of all time.
yeah.
Yeah, I would put the Who above Zeppelin, the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones, all of that
Absolutely.
shit.
100%.
The Who is the reason that general admission seating wasn't allowed in
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Ohio for
Yeah,
20
hell yeah,
years, dude.
The Who rules. Man.
You had to only you could only do general admission outside for
So
like
we got
25, 30
two
years.
bands we agree on, we got the Beatles and we got the Who.
Yeah.
Who else we got? We gotta have 2.
Well, we got a
more.
million bands we agree on.
No. I just mean in terms of like that endearment.
Those
of,
old head bands
that's
that
just
people
that
love.
band that really I think paved the way and changed a lot of shit. I think the Beatles and the Who for sure. But if we're doing that Rushmore, we gotta have 2 more, and that's 2 we both agree on. Are I would
of
put
just
the Who
stuff
over,
out of that general,
Yeah.
like stuff our dads would have
Yeah.
T-shirts
But
of.
not just shit like we're not talking Def Leppard or AC/DC here. I mean, we're talking about bands that really did.
Yeah, from that
The
era.
Beatles, the Who. I mean, we got to have 2 more.
There's a few. I would argue that
Because I'm taking Zeppelin and the Stones off
hear
the
me
list
out here, dude. Well, the Kinks,
The Kinks.
because
yeah.
I would really credit the Kinks with a lot of the elements of proto punk ahead of the Beatles, obviously,
Man, there was a
for
keep
speed
talking.
and like the
There
sort
was a
of.
Kinks song that I really fucking loved.
Well, there's a couple that are questionable, but there's some really good ones. And I would
Yeah.
even say like the Monkees ended up being pretty good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I liked the Monkees. They had some good shit, but I don't know, on par with like the Beatles and the Who and doing shit. Who else? I mean, you already know I don't like a lot of them.
You're a big Foreigner guy, dude.
Foreigner's good, dude. I like
Double
fucking
vision.
Cold as Ice.
You're as cold as ice.
Willing to
Sacrifice my love.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a
Dude,
good
Foreigner
one, dude.
fucked, man.
I like REO Speedwagon.
Dude, Foreigner was good enough to be Foreigner was good enough to be on Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I was told you didn't like REO Speedwagon.
Who told you that?
Heard it from a friend
Oh,
who. Heard it
He's
from a
good.
friend who.
He's good. I'm trying to find this song, dude, because I can't remember the name of it. It was a really
Heard it through the
big fan.
grapevine. Not much longer would you be
you
mine.
like Sticks,
Marvin
dude,
Gaye.
in fucking Kansas.
And rap.
Fuck you, dude. Don't put rat in there with that bullshit.
You like Sticks in Kansas and Air Supply and
No,
fucking
I don't like that shit.
Nelson to Nelson
I
and
like
fucking.
none of that.
No, you're a big fan of all that stuff.
Living on a Thin Line, dude,
Who's that?
by the Kinks.
Okay, that's the one you like.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that song, dude. I couldn't think of the name. I didn't want to say it wrong on the air.
What else they
That's
got
a
from
fucking
back
banger,
in,
dude. What about there was another band that was
What's his
like-
name, dude? What's the black dude that was similar to Chuck Berry, but he was like almost, he was heavy and he sang about skeletons and like voodoo shit. His name was like fucking, I can't remember. It was like fucking Spooky Joe Swanson or something like that. I
Didn't
can't
Joe
remember what it
Swanson on
was.
fucking Family Guy, dude. There was a lot of I like a lot of shit that was like
Screaming Jay Hawkins, dude.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about. He
that
did
was
the
Steven's
dark. He
brother.
sang about scary shit,
Mhm.
and he dressed like a fucking, like Halloweenish.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, he was before
wasn't
Alice
he in the
Cooper.
wasn't
or
he
any
in the
of-
Church of Satan?
This was in the 50s. Screaming Jay Hawkins?
No, there was one black guy that was a musician that was in the Church of Satan. That
Oh,
was-
maybe. I don't know.
It might not have been him.
He
man.
did motherfucking I Put a Spell on You, dude.
I'm pretty sure it was Screaming Jay, dude.
And he also wrote Bela Lugosi's Dead, popularized by Bauhaus. So, no, he didn't write that. I was going to say I didn't know that, but it says others credit that song as the start of goth culture. Yeah. Yeah, in there for sure, but yeah, talking proto-goth. He's always listed in there. And he's got some other. And then you also have shit like the fucking Trash Men, dude.
I like
I
I like Moody Blues myself, man.
You know, that's kind of proto-punk, dude. That's, people credit that as being in there. You got a lot of shit that influenced, man. There's a great YouTube channel called Trash Theory that does videos about a band, individual bands and their rise up. And they do clips and like the shit they were influenced. You'll like it, man. It's a real good deep dive channel on any good punk band. They've got a bunch of them. And what is it you're trying to look up, buddy?
that dude's name.
From what?
You just keep talking. I'm gonna deep.
I might know it just
I'm
from what's he
fugating,
from.
brother. He was a dude that was in the Church of Satan.
He was a member of the Church of Satan, and he was a
Yes.
black dude. You're talking about from the Rat Pack, man. Dean Martin? No, not Dean Martin.
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah,
That's who I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Yeah,
from the Rat Pack.
that
I was right about that. I just
makes
couldn't
me
remember
sound
his name.
extremely racist.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of that guy.
You should. Yeah, I remember hearing that recently.
I just
didn't
remember
know
you
that
said.
until-
I don't know why I got him and Screaming Jay confused, but yes, it
Well,
was
they were
Sammy.
both probably from the 50s. maybe,
Yeah.
So
It happens,
yeah.
man. But yeah, Moody Blues was badass. Fucked with them
Yeah.
a lot, man. The Hollies were badass.
there's a
There's
lot,
a lot of
of
that good shit back then, man.
I mean, you really do. It's been said numerous times, but all the roots for every style of rock and roll came out of some black music at some point in time.
Was Jim Croce black?
Jim Croce?
Yeah.
What? I don't even know of him.
You know Jim Croce, man.
What would he do?
He had.
You mean Jim Crow? Because he
no,
wasn't.
That's not who I'm talking. I'm talking about Jim Croce, dude. He had fucking many a hits, dude. Leroy Brown and fucking. He did all sorts of shit, dude. This guy, Jim Croce.
And you're telling me that's not Frank Zappa I'm looking at right there?
It's not. It's Jim Croce. I don't think he was. Was he?
I don't know.
He was from fucking. He was an Italian American folk singer.
From Delaware.
I don't guess he was black, dude. I always thought he was black. This episode's not painted me in the best light.
Nah, man. You want to go?
Well, we'll go ahead and
we got one more after
let's
this,
go ahead and
dude.
start this episode over now, dude.
Yeah, this has been one
I
of
guess
our
I just
worst.
always seen black and white photos of him and
couldn't tell.
just couldn't tell, dude. That's insane, dude.
What are you talking about?
Are you
dude?
telling me, bro, that I could be wrong here?
No, you are dead right. I take that back.
Yeah, I don't think I was.
Yeah, he could definitely be a black man, for sure. What is he, Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Italians. Hey, you got a long-haired Italian in a black and white photo.
Man, let's not drop this episode.
Yeah, let's keep this one in the fucking archives.
I'm Googling to do was Jim Croce black or white, dude.
Okay. He was definitely
He
not.
was Italian, man. He was not black. It literally says it.
Damn, dude.
I'm 0-2
I'm
tonight.
quicker than Google,
I'm
dude. It's crazy.
0-2 tonight.
And
on
I'm 2-0.
African American musicians.
On being quicker than Google.
And you know what? I'm not gonna crash out like Tom McDonald and say, but I'm not racist, guys.
Dude, I don't know how to tell them apart.
I'm sorry, I fucked up, man. I'd never
No,
seen
dude. I'll say this, right? I don't think all black people look alike. Pretty easy to tell
I don't
black
either.
people. I actually
Yeah.
think black people a lot of times have more differences and features between them than white people do.
Absolutely.
I think
yeah.
white people look more similar to each other than black people.
Why don't we just stop, dude? We're
Let me stop before I get to Asian people, though. 'cause